Alrighty folks, welcome back to the garage. Today we got to go out in the solar bay, so we're gonna see if we can get this radiator charge cooler kind of mounted and situated where we need. So let's go out, take a peek, show you what I got, and we'll go from there. So down here in the bottom of the core support, I just took some rectangular tubing, sliced it to make us a piece of angle, put a hole in it. Got one on both sides, because the way this whole radiator stack mounts up, you've got a cast aluminum pin right here. There was a big rubber thing that kind of goes on there, but these are wrecked. These are old and tired. So we'll just put a piece of old tire right there for now, both sides. And then the top on the Duramaxes, and there's a big cast iron or cast aluminum piece that comes off here with a rubber grommet thing. Cut all that off because it sticks up way too high and would hit the hood. So let me put this in there. I'll show you what we've got set up for the upper brackets to hold everything in place. And this is actually looking pretty slick. Alright, sorry about the sun. Working on this in my yard. I still got this thing on the trailer, so it's kind of been a pain. But get it. So the charge air cooler is going to sit like that. I'll show you in a minute. We're real close to the inner fenders. We're probably going to have to body hammer those down just a hair. And then the radiator is going to sit here like so. Okay, I've built me up some brackety things. There's some sort of a bolt that goes through this front structure piece. So this is going to sit here and reach over here and catch this upper radiator mount bolt. And then we'll catch this bolt here to give us some different plane of attack here to help keep this thing rigid. Snug this all up. Yeah, so I've got these brackets all fabbed up here. Turned out pretty slick. So I'm gonna go, I brought my rivet nut set home. We'll get these holes marked. I'm gonna put a couple of bolts through that with some nuts. Some threaded inserts there. This side's looking pretty slick. Anyway, leave some good room in here. I don't think we're gonna run the mechanical fan. There's just not quite enough room. I think the amount of work it's gonna take to run a mechanical fan, plus trying to do a fan shroud, because my guess is, I haven't really checked everything out, but it doesn't, the radiator doesn't sit exactly the same where it would have in the donor truck, so the fan shroud probably won't line up. That was the whole point of trying to run the mechanical fan. So I found a place online that I'm probably gonna get a new radiator for, because this one's all plugged up with dirt. I could rinse it out, but this thing's probably got 250,000 miles on it. So get a new radiator, and they make a nice formed up fan shroud with two big huge electric fans on it that for the price, you know, and the shroud that they've got sits real low profile. The factory shroud in this sticks way out. So we'll do that. I think that'll be a lot better. But yeah, let me get some threaded inserts here, and I think we're looking pretty good. are in. So yeah, we're not gonna run the mechanical fan. I think we're gonna go electric. The charge pipes, I could probably make the factory ones work from the donor, but I think the amount of work it would take, it would just be easier and probably look much better to just build some more, or build some from scratch. So I've ordered all the tubing for that. I've ordered enough tubing to do the lower radiator hose on all of the silicone size reducers and everything to go over there. The factory radiator hose isn't going to work because this cross member's here. That cross member isn't there in the donor truck. The upper radiator hose should fit. We'll just have to trim the one side off because these are both the same size and it's just a 90. So we can trim the one side off because it sits over a little bit there, I think. So that should be that. The power steering lines, I've kind of eyeballed those. I think we might be pretty lucky there. I think things might work out really well there. So I'll have to get the power steering pump here and start fiddling with that. But I also, the factory fuel filter lines up on these two bolts here. I just put a piece of 1/4-inch aluminum in here and moved that forward one hole to clear our HVAC box. The factory charge pipe, like I said, it's really close, but it just kind of comes way out wonky. I can get the factory charge pipe to clear and fit, but it sits high and hits the hood. I think it's going to be too much work. But I think if we use this size of hard line to come off here, because they were doing it, it would come out of this size and then neck up to the 3-inch that they're using down here. So I think we can leave this all the 2.5, or I think that's what size it was here, and we can come out here and we've got tons of room there. And we'll probably have to body hammer this slightly. I think we can hammer this all in and get away. My reducer is going to be right here down, so I think we can sneak it past the fender there. So we'll tune that in with the body hammer. Same over here. I think we can shoot right between this hose here and go up that way, but the reducer I got is a 45, so it's going to be so close it's scary. But I'm not getting too worried about these yet. Like I said, I've ordered everything. They're coming. As soon as they get here, we'll start tinkering with all that stuff. But it's coming along real good. There's a bolt right here that is the bolt for it's the upper condenser bolt. We're pretty dang close over here, but I think we're gonna be all right. So let me actually, this one looks closer, because when you tighten this bolt here on this upper mount, it compresses this here and pulls everything towards this mount that I built. So it pulls everything towards the rear of the truck. So as we tighten that, we should get some gap. Yeah, so that's gonna give us some real nice clearance there. So yeah, the closest thing was that bolt, and I filed them down. I think we had enough room, but just to be safe, I filed them down. Everything else, I mean, it fits really well and nice. And we could probably do some fabricating to get this all to move forward enough to run the mechanical fan and shroud, but just the amount of work, I think the electric fans are going to be good. So that's probably it for this one. I know it was a real quick video. I haven't really had time to really just hit this hard. It's been an hour here and an hour there after work, and some time here, and then we had rain. So it's kind of been here and there and everywhere. And I really had to get this radiator dialed in to get our height right, make sure it sat low enough that the hood would close, and we're all good there. And like I said, I had to take these off, so that looks real nice. And then side to side, had to pick my battle of, do I center it between the fenders here? Do I move it to the one side to get the clearance I need and make manufacturing the hose easier on the one side, but more work on the fender over there? So I kind of split it to kind of split up. We've got a little bit of fender work to do to each one, but it's not too big of a deal. I think it's not going to be. So I think these fit in there real nice. So stay tuned for all this stuff. Next time I'll see if I can get the power steering going. Hopefully these boost pipes show up. But stay tuned, we're getting rocking and rolling on this, and hopefully 3-4 weeks we'll have our computer and our wiring harness back. So like, subscribe, follow, all that junk if you want to see it. We'll see you in the next one.